longer hair, but they do shed.
Okay.
You gotta like the shedding dogs, but they're real cute. They're one of those friendly type kind of dogs.
Yeah.
So yeah, and we'd stand in one of the rides. I would, and and kids were like, "Oh, that's the voice of Goofy. And can we have your autograph?" And you're signing the princess's book, and then like, all right, whatever. Yeah.
So you were cool.
Maybe I don't know. I lost that edge a little while back, but.
Hello, and welcome to Pester the Professor.
This is a show where we get to know our professors outside of the classroom.
And we'll be back right after this. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jordan, and today we are here with Shannon the Cannon Johnson. Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks.
So, first, just to give a brief of who you are. Shannon, who are you?
Oh, the esoteric question. Who is it? Who are any of us? Well, I am a professor here at the University of Central Missouri. I came here in 2005. I also am a UCM graduate. I have my first 2 degrees from the University of Central Missouri, or CMSU, that we're not supposed to talk about anymore. Outside of that, world traveler, married with a couple of, one kid that I know of, and then the 2 that came with the marriage. What else? Yeah, that's about it.
Awesome.
All right, I guess we'll jump into the questions.
All right.
We'll start off with a pretty easy one.
Okay.
We'd like to ask every professor what your favorite shoe is.
Ooh, mine would be the Hey Dude. I have quite an extensive collection of the dudes. We're getting ready for an upcoming trip, and my wife got me a new one that had palm trees on it. So, yeah, outside of here, I really go for the casual wear. So I'm more of a dude person now. Yeah, that'd be my footwear of choice.
I like that. I feel like we asked a bunch of people this, and they were all like, oh, just whatever's the most comfortable. And very few people have given a specific shoe that they prefer.
Oh.
So I think you and Nikki Freeman are the only 2 that were like, this is a shoe that I want. So.
Yeah, I'm pretty brand specific.
Yeah.
So.
So you've talked about you travel a lot. You also, I know that you help with study abroad. Where's like your favorite place that you've either lived or just your favorite place you've visited?
Ooh. So quite a few places. So those don't know, we've got a second home in Florida that we visit several times throughout the year. So that's fun, beach time, and it kind of works as our kind of port for the Caribbean. Did that before I got married, so luckily my wife liked it and we got to hang on to it. As far as going abroad, Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales. I love the Scottish culture. The Highland cows. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And we go early spring. I mean, winter is still kind of raging a little bit, but to see Ireland green in February is just incredible. I mean, they call it the Emerald Isle. But honestly, last year, actually a couple years ago, my wife and I have decided that we don't like the kids anymore. So on Thanksgiving, we leave for the whole week, and we put. There's only one living at home, and hopefully he'll be out soon. We leave a frozen turkey dinner in the little Swanson in the deep freeze for him, and we go off and see the world. So last year I took my wife to Athens, Greece, and we went to several of the islands. And as a surprise, on her bucket list, I took her to Cairo, Egypt, because she wanted to ride a camel around the pyramids. So you know what they call Thanksgiving in Egypt? Thursday. So yeah, just another Thursday to them. But they do Black Friday, which I thought was pretty
That is
interesting. Yeah, a lot of Europe does Black Friday. So that was probably one of the cooler experiences traveling. Next weekend we'll be in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, for Thanksgiving. So going to see a high school friend who was an exchange student in high school, and She is now a medical doctor living in Rio, and we're gonna go visit her family for the week. So should be we'll have an updated episode.
Yeah.
Brazil might be my new favorite
Very
place.
cool.
Do you have a specific place you've preferred to like take students to study abroad?
That's always a challenging thing. It has been the United Kingdom, and mostly because of the language barrier.
Yeah.
I can speak conversational French and read and write it. But when you start talking about interactions and working, it's easier when we don't. There is a language barrier. A mad Scotsman is hard to understand no matter what you do. But it's still basically English. So the ones that we've done, we focused on Scotland, Ireland, Wales, England. So we get rid of that barrier, which makes it a lot easier when you're teaching how to work in a broad situation or international, I should say. When we go to the film office and we get a permit, or we go to the city official and, hey, we want to shoot on this street. So in that whole learning process, it's just a lot easier than trying to get an interpreter to figure out all that. So that's pretty much why we have focused on that aspect of it.
Gotcha.
Very cool. Moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. We've asked other DMP professors this, but what animal would you say you are?
Ooh. I'd like it to be something exotic, but I'm probably just a dog. I like to, I at the end of the day, I'm loyal. Depending on who you are, I might lick your face. Could wet in the corner. But ultimately, I think the no matter how bad I get treated, I still kind of go back to treating people the same way and give people second and third and fourth chances, even though I may hold a grudge. But I, just like a dog, they come back to you, and they're loyal, and they like to just be around you. And I'm a really big people person. I always like to immerse myself in humans. So I'd probably be a dog.
Any specific breed?
It's kind of sad. We just put down my 17-year-old dog last week, and it was a cockapoo. So it's a Cocker Spaniel and Poodle, and they're hyperallergenic, which is they don't shed. Even though they're really hairy, they don't shed. So I've always been a Spaniel, because I just love that. But that cockapoo kind of, I got a new love in the cockapoos. They're not terribly big, but lots of energy. They'll run with you all day long. So Spaniel or a cockapoo.
I don't know if I know what a Cocker Spaniel is, actually.
It's a medium-sized dog. They're I don't know, they're about 40 pounds at a big one. So I mean, they're not too terribly big. Longer hair, but they do shed.
Okay.
You gotta like the shedding dogs. But they're real cute. They're one of those friendly type kind of dogs.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Gotcha. So we've also asked every professor, and we've kind of given you a specific, but do you think you're a black cat or an orange cat?
Ooh. I'm definitely colorful, so I'm gonna go with the orange cat. Yeah, kind of like calico.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna wear that coat and I'm gonna strut around with it. Yeah, I'm a little bit more of a colorful character.
I
Yeah.
think that's what we said.
Yeah,
calico.
I can.
That like
I can see that.
Yeah, like a mix of both.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, my turn. Do you have any weird or hidden talents?
Ooh. Well, I teach a class called Performance for the Media, so I don't know if I wow anybody, but all the different character voices, because I do a lot of voiceover work, so I'll do a variety of different imitate characters. Used to do a really good Goofy. When the kids were little and we were in Disney World and we'd stand in one of the rides, I would, and, and kids were like, oh, that's the voice of Goofy. And can we have your autograph? And you're signing the princess's book. And then, like, all right, whatever, you asked for it. I'm not really Goofy, but, I am Goofy, but I'm not the voice.
Goofy?
What?
Do you
oh,
sign
yeah, I just signed
Goofy?
Goofy.
Okay.
Yeah, just like the characters.
Can you imagine Shannon Johnson?
That is Goofy. I don't know. That's
Weird.
so voices, I can juggle. I
Can
can
you
juggle
really?
rings, yeah. I was in a musical called Barnum, based on the life of P.T. Barnum, and my character was one that merged and became Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey. So, at one point, the entire 60-member cast was juggling on stage. So I can juggle back and forth to people and that. So, I can juggle.
Juggling's one of those things where I'm like, I gotta learn how to juggle sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I think that.
Oh, yeah. It just, you're just walking around, you just pick up 3 walnuts and just start juggling,
Yeah,
and people
yeah.
are like, ooh, hey.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's probably some of the most hidden things that
I would
did.
not have guessed that.
Yeah.
I also wouldn't have guessed you were in a musical.
I would say, does that mean you can sing too?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. My first degree is in theater, and we didn't have musical performance. I've always been a technical person. I mean, I teach audio and lighting and things now, in addition to all the film classes and stuff like that. But the performance, that's why I was tapped to do the performance, because I am a trained actor as well, and I do sing. I've been in, 20, 30 musicals in my life. I've directed a number of them as well. So, yeah. I've always thought I was more of a choir voice, but I seem to end up with these different roles. So
I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's kind of shocking.
No, well, I'll sing sometime. Not today.
We'll make sure to get it on camera when we do.
Okay.
So I think this next question we put in kind of specifically for you, which we thought we could ask everybody, but I think in the back of our head we were like, we gotta ask Shannon this.
Okay.
Because you do talk about just kind of your college experience in class a lot. Do you have a favorite memory or a favorite story that you would like to share about college?
Allowed to share?
Ooh, wow. Well, the statute of limitations have run out for most of these, so we're pretty safe now. Is the one with Joe coming up later, or is this part of that one?
We'll ask that one later.
That's segue.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
we'll save that one. I really enjoyed college. I was, I besides theater and mass comm, as we called it back then, my time on KCMW, the radio station here, I was big in the fraternal world, SGA. I really immersed myself in college. So I don't know if the statute of limitations have run out for everybody on spring break yet, but the spring break, the trips to South Padre, the trips to Daytona, how none of us died, on a marathon drive there and back, leave Friday at the last class. We didn't skip class then, but and then leave the last sun rays at Saturday night, and when they kick you out of your hotel, and we're back, we're rolling in, Monday morning for class. Those were fun times. And I always tell people, don't get too hung up with high school friends. I mean, you'll have those friends forever. The relationships you have are the ones you have in college. And when I, even before the social medias that we have now, and everybody found people they didn't, that had lost, over time and distance. Still, my closest friends are the ones I had in college, and that's always been near and dear to me, is because we shared those experiences. I don't know. I drove a baby blue Mustang convertible.
So you were cool.
Probably, maybe, I don't know. I lost that edge a little while back, but probably one of the funniest stories is, I was dating a gal. And there was a fraternity brother who everybody swore we look alike. And I look back now at the pictures like, yeah. Now, he still has hair and I don't, so I don't know where that cruel joke went to. But he wanted to borrow my car one day. And it was a real popular spring thing to do a little country driving, as we'll call it. So he stopped at the sorority house and picked up 3 other people. And they were all girls. and he's heading out. And the gal I was dating at the time worked in comm disorders and as a receptionist type thing, and she was heading back to the sorority house, and she saw me drive away with 3 girls in the car. Only it wasn't me.
Oh no.
That took a little explaining. Yeah, but we got it worked out. So yeah,
That's good.
That's funny.
so
Were you? I could be completely wrong, but were you in the same fraternity as a celebrity?
as
A celebrity.
yes, Kevin Costner is a fraternity brother of mine,
Wow.
and the over the years, I mean, he didn't go to UCM. He went to the University of Southern California, but we got to know each other and have kept in touch throughout the years. When he's been, and you'd be surprised how many film scenes he's shot in the Kansas City area over the years for different shows, and always get a call when he's in the area, that kind of thing. And we'll, if we can get together, we will. Again, just, it's one of those things. It's kind of a boomerang as going around and come back around. There's some pictures up in my office of him and I in some different situations and stuff like that. He's a really nice guy, very, very talented.
Wow, that's so cool.
Do you want to segue into this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't really know the context if you want to ask it.
So we had Joe Moore on here, and we know from class that apparently you and Joe dated the same girl, like kind of back to back. Can you tell your side of that story?
Oh, I know what Joe said. I broke her heart. The very lovely person. Still keep in touch. Facebook's been great to get a hold of people that you just went into different geographical locations. This individual wanted a lot more of a relationship than I did. We call it commitment. I wasn't quite at the commitment stage. And just to prove it, I didn't get married till I was 36. So in my 20s, I wasn't really looking for that type of level of commitment that she was. And yeah, I broke her heart. And then Joe come right along and picked up all the pieces. So, but lovely individuals, got a lovely family. But yeah, I always kind of felt bad about that. But thankfully, Joe was there to fix it for me.
That's funny.
Thanks, Joe.
Yes. Shout out Joe. When you were a kid, what did you want to do when you grew up?
Ooh, I wanted to be an architect. And I was really close to going to K-State. I'd been cast in a musical my 9th grade year, which was still junior high back then. And it was Anything Goes. And I got a chorus part. I mean, I'd never been in a show before. It was in choir, but teacher's like, we need some basses. We need some more deeper voices. And these are junior high, so you can imagine, yeah, most of them were still sopranos. So I got a nice featured dancing role, and which I did end up getting a minor in dance while I was in college. So back before the dance thing that we have here at UCM now. So I got this dancing, singing part, and thought, ooh, this is kind of cool. So the teacher, that same teacher, because they were moving to the middle school system, and so the high school teacher retired, so he moved up to high school. So he was like, hey, you want to stay involved, that kind of thing. Then I started designing scenery and designing sets. And I was still architecture, it was, I'd done some job shadowing. I was like, I want to design buildings. I want to design landscaping. I want to, all that kind of thing. And the more I designed scenery, I was like, this is kind of cool. This thing only has to last 6 weeks. As long as nobody dies, this is great. It's not a structure that there's lawsuits and liability. It's faux walls, and then it changes, because I found out an architect will work on a job for 2 or 3 years, maybe a job for 2 or 3 years. I'm like, I need a little more variety in my life than that. Let's move on to the next thing. So I thought, well, okay. So I started looking at a career in theater and design, and could put those together, and they had a really, really great program here with Professor Emeritus David Pierbolt. Brilliant designer, lighting, Not so much audio, but that was kind of my thing anyway, and so I learned all those other skills from that I still use to this day, whether it's in the CTV studio or helping out with a high school or a college production designing or or even constructing those things. So I really kind of married the two together with the love of performing in theater with architecture.
So how did you get into audio?
So in addition to singing, I used to play in a band, which again wasn't a whole lot. You plugged into your amp, and I play bass and just played. So in the 90s, I owned a lot of nightclubs and performance venues. I figured I had to get my money back for that I spent in them in the 80s. So as I started booking acts and I DJ'd a lot. So now I'm already setting up sound systems and doing things like that. I'm studying acoustics, and the properties and things like that. And then again, this is all analog. This is way before the digital technology we have now. But then I started getting more into the recording because I had some great nightclubs that were great venues to record in. They sounded great. So I initially was self-taught myself the art of live recording. And then because they didn't have those type of classes then, right. You'd get hired by a production company, you'd apprentice, and eventually someone would get sick or die, and they'd go, "Oh, you get to run monitors today," And I did some of that again along in the '90s with some tours that came through Kansas City. I got to sit in on stage at the U2 concert that came through, and I toured with them in the Midwest doing the monitors. The in-ear, well, wasn't in-ear at the time, but the wedge monitor kind of things, and so I kind of started practicing that craft, and then the digital revolution came along in the late '90s, and I'm freeware that they give away now. I was paying hundreds of dollars for then because that's how you got it, and started that whole mixing and editing and perfecting that art of building, whether it's a sound effect or recording an audio track or layering a song or things like that. So that's kind of where it all started at.
I love that every professor we've talked to and told them, or they've told us their kind of like career journey, it always started somewhere and ended completely different. And that's just kind of like reassuring that.
Yeah, one of the cool things. Now, granted, I started out theater because that's where you learned your training for the things that we do now in digital media. Did I know I wanted to be a teacher? Well, I did go down the BSE route. I had the education courses, and then I student taught, and then I thought, there is no way in the world I could deal with these hormonal teenagers. I'll kill somebody. And I thought, so that kind of got put on the back burner. And I don't know if I mentioned, I'm big in scouting, been a scout leader most of my life. So I've always been teaching something, merit badge, whether it's communication merit badge or filmmaking or journalism, and I've always enjoyed that. So teaching was always kind of back there a little bit. You talk about on your journey, but it I'd gotten to the point where I was I got these degrees to actually do this, and then I got to the point where I wanted to share. It was time to have less fun. Maybe I was having too much fun, but let's just do a little different career path. So and that's why I went essentially back into teaching. So
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
but it is we all do have different trajectories on how we got here.
Yeah.
What do we want to do now? Move on?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your biggest fear? And you can do both rational and irrational fear if you want.
That is a really good one. It's kind of like that slogan on a shirt, no fear. I can't think of anything. I'm not afraid of heights. You know, the I MC a lot of things, so it's I'm out in front of people all the time.
Yeah.
So public speaking, whether just not the classroom, but hundreds or thousands of people, that doesn't bother me. I don't know if I really have. Maybe the fear of disappointing people.
Yeah.
Being a disappointment. Not maybe living up to someone else's expectation. Maybe that's my biggest fear is that.
Yeah, not like.
Sorry to be a downer,
no,
but
no,
yeah,
it's
like,
fine. No.
Yeah, I just you said rational or irrational. Yeah, because snakes don't bother me, spiders don't bother me. My wife scares me, but I don't have any fear. No.
I mean, that's good, I guess. Not fearful.
So you really, which I know people do, but like you don't have any fear of public speaking.
Not at all.
Can you explain like just what goes through your head when you're in front of a crowd?
Well, I'll tell you. Next week, I'm emceeing the Martin Luther King Scholarship fundraiser in the Union Ballroom Saturday night. I don't know how many people are supposed to be there, but I found out that the Beat, the UCM, the Beat, the radio station was playing music, and then I found out later that I'm actually the host for all the events, get people to bid and things like that. And I actually do this about 4 or 5 times a year for different functions. It's kind of I won't say it's my charity work, but that's my gift in kind to organizations that I support. I'm very comfortable in my own skin. If you've had me in my class, especially, getting comfortable with your own voice kind of thing. Some people hate to hear themselves amplified. Not me. I'm good with it. I don't, I'm always willing to be a character. So, I'll put on, big goofy shoes and a floppy hat and stand up and do it. It just doesn't, I have no fear with it. It's just, you just commit to it and just do it. I don't know how else to. Yeah, it's not been one of those things in my life that I've ever really thought anything about. I just turn it on when it's time to turn on.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I wish I could give some better tips than that. I guess being prepared. That's probably it's confidence. And if you're confident in yourself and you're confident in your abilities. I think that's and then be confident in your own skin. It takes a while to get to that point in people's lives, and sometimes we're there and sometimes we're out and sometimes we're back again. And if you're there, it all clicks and you can get out there and be a star.
So we are pretty much close to out of time, and kind of going off of what you were just talking about, something we like to ask all of our professors, kind of their last thing is, do you have any advice that you would give either to us or kind of just in general about our career or life?
Wow, deep question. Career or your life? Have fun. The number one thing. It's a cliche. If you love what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. I like to have fun. It's the people. When are you gonna retire? When I don't have fun anymore. As long as you enjoy what you're doing. So what does it do to get to that? Well, one, embrace what you do. Practice your craft. Get good at it. So it is fun. You don't have to work as hard if things are secondhand to you. If you just like the public speaking. I don't even think about it. It just, is the mic hot? Okay, let's go. And it just happens because I've done it so many times. I practiced my craft. And then you can have the fun. That's the reward to all this. You get to do the fun things that you like to do. So have fun. Enjoy it. It's you're gonna blink and you're going to be going up the stairs slower, and you're going to be, you're going to look in the mirror and go, "Who's that old person?" And it'll be gone in a blink. So have fun while you're doing it, and do as much as you possibly can. That's the best advice I can give anybody is enjoy it. We're so fortunate to be able to work in this type of field and do the things we do. So relish it and keep practicing it so you get better and better at it, and you'll want to do it the rest of your life. Is that profound enough?
That's very profound, I would say.
awesome. And I hope you had fun today.
I did.
Thank
This
you
was
so
fun.
much for
Thank you
being
for
here.
having me on.
Yes.
Well, this was Pester the Professor with Shannon Johnson. Make sure you tune in next week when we pester another professor. We'll see you later.